Hello everyone, I am Ahona Mukherjee.
And I am Prakash Veer Singh Tomar, and we welcome you to another keynote session where we bring people associated from every domain to guide you and help us with all our queries.
Absolutely. Here you will get a chance to interact with them and ask all your doubts directly, but through us. Apart from this, we will also take a little bit of sneak peek into their personal life. And so now, without any further ado, we will call our guest speaker for today.
So today we have with us Mitadru Majumdar, who is Senior Application Engineer at Google, California. Yes, you heard it right. Welcome, Dada, and thank you for taking out time from a busy schedule.
Welcome, Dada. So, before we move further into the session, I would like to inform you about that bit for which you have been waiting for so long, that is the swags. So, to get the swags, you have to do a social media challenge like usual. Your task will be to take a screenshot of the session that we are having right now and to post about it in Twitter and LinkedIn. Use our hashtag ACMIEM, hashtag Diversion2k22. You can also tag us, our accounts in Twitter and in LinkedIn. All the details will be in the description box. And write whatever you want about the session. Tell us how it helped you. Tell us what knowledge you gained, and the best three will get a chance to have the swags from our side. So everybody do it and don't forget to tag us. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's
Thank you.
my honor to talk to you guys. Thanks to you guys to organize this, and yeah, looking forward to a good conversation.
Yes, Nada. So, firstly, how have you been? And with this whole COVID and lockdown situation, how have you been through?
Yeah, it has been so far so good. I think we are privileged enough to still have a job, to work from home, because if you see around the world there are so many people who are struggling with their day to day. I think we are one of those blessed ones who still I think we are doing pretty good by ourselves to meet our ends properly. And yeah, I mean, that's how I see, like, I think we are I consider myself privileged, to be honest.
Okay. So, Dada, we all know you like a senior application engineer at Google, California, but can you let us know more about yourself so that audience can know more about your life and all that?
Yeah, you want to know about my professional life or personal life?
Yeah, just considering the question, first dive, deep dive into the personal one, and then we'll move over to the professional.
Yeah, personal life. Yeah, I have grown up in Calcutta, studied in IEM, enjoyed college life to the fullest, like all you guys do. I think I'm pretty jealous with you guys where you are.
No, Dada,
Uh,
actually, we don't. This COVID has already stopped us from enjoying our college life.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have been hearing a lot of this, and I have my cousins who still go to college and all, and this remote situation is not helping any of the students, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and personal hobbies, like, yeah, we used to play a lot of sports in. Not that college used to sponsor a lot of sports, but we used to play within our friends group. We used to play a lot of sports. So I like watching cricket a lot. That's what I do probably whenever I get time. Watching movies nowadays, web series is a thing, and I'm into it. Personally, I have two daughters. One is 4 years, one is 2 months. That's where I think a lot of my time goes.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much about my personal life. Yeah, yeah. Professionally, like you guys know, I work for Google. Um, I work for supply chain domain. So we build software solutions for enabling Google hardware, and yeah, that's pretty high level of what I do at work and who I am.
So, Dada, your this entire journey to Google. Now we know that you are in Google, but
Hmm.
how was the journey? Like from college to Google. Tell us about the journey.
Yeah, I think post college. And I think during our time we used to have a campusing during third year. I don't know how is it now. So like my first job was at Infosys. That was a pretty interesting journey during the campusing because I didn't get through the first series of the interviews. I think these TCS, CTS, Wipro, but finally met through Infosys. And then we were posted at Mysore. We had a pretty long training there. And after Mysore, I was posted at Bhubaneswar. I was there for 3.5 years. And I think from starting, the one thing that I started working in this supply chain domain. And the reason I tell you this because you'll be able to connect the dots later. And there after Infosys working in Bhubaneswar for 3.5 years, so it's an on-site opportunity that I got, and our client was Apple. So that's how I landed in California in 2011. And after I landed here, I was working for here for another 3 years, but again, like Bay Area or California, at least where I live here in San Francisco, there is like a lot of opportunities. I'll say like it is kind of Bangalore that we see in India. And then I started, venturing out, looking out for opportunities, started giving interviews. But the tough part was I was not aware of the interview processes over here. I was prepping the same way I would have prepped for another company. I mean, the interview process in India was pretty different, at least during my time. Now it has changed. Now we have a lot of uniformity across the board. So initially, it took couple of years for me not couple of years, it took at least quite some time for me to understand what's going on. And then I think lead code and all of these were starting. So right now I think it's pretty straightforward, not straightforward, pretty standardized across the board, because if you want to go and do a job interview in any of these product companies, you just Google and you will see hundreds of questions. And it's pretty known fact that you have to do a 6 months of lit code. It's a typical joint entrance examination. That's how I look at. So it took some time for me to understand that, and then I started giving interviews. But I landed in Google, it was pretty coincidence. I was doing a supply chain job at Apple as a contractor for Infosys, and then one of my client who joined Google, she referred me to a job and to a position, and that's where I interviewed. It was a similar kind of a position, similar kind of work opportunity, and I think we lost someone.
And I guess she might be facing some internet connectivity
Yeah, that's
issues.
right. Yeah, yeah, but I can continue, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can go
you,
ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, and that's how I landed up in Google. I think it's my seventh year here at Google. So yeah, that's pretty much about me, how I landed here, starting from IEM to Infosys to Mysore to Google.
So, Dada, you elaborated that how you made up to like Google and then made to like you started your journey from Infosys. back then from IEM, and then reached out Infosys, and then now you are working in Google. But can you tell us like what kind of guy you were back then in your college, like in IEM? What kind of personality you were during your college life?
I think you should ask the teachers. Okay, I don't know if they remember my name, but
Yes, sir.
How
yeah,
do
I
you
don't know
see yourself?
who.
Like, how do you see yourself? Like, were you active in college days in various events that we see?
I mean, active is a pretty relative term. I mean, I was active in a lot of activities, but it was not close to anything that you guys are doing. So I was, yeah, but I think I used to take my semester seriously, but I was never one of the top graders, but I made sure, like, okay, I do my exams properly, but and typically how engineers do, right? I mean, night outs, they start, I don't know what you guys do today, but in my time there were like something called as matrix. Mm, so we used to do a lot of metrics and a lot of phone calls, combined studies. uh, that's how I think we got through the 4 years of engineering, and rest all was just fun. Yeah, we were lucky we didn't have COVID during that time, so it was a very different experience. Yeah, we did spend a lot of time in the hostels. Yeah, I just don't want to reveal stuff that we did. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun for sure. Yeah, and I miss those days. And the good part is, a lot of our friends, we are still connected. I have few friends here as well. And I think nowadays it's pretty easy to stay in touch due to this social media and all, and we all kind of know who is doing what. So yeah.
So, Dada, that brings me to the next question. While mentioning your journey, you said that in the initial days you faced some rejections in interviews. So, we would
Mhm.
like to know to how to cope up with those rejections, because our placements and the kind of situation we are right now, rejections are greater in number rather than getting the acceptance offer. So, how do we deal with that and we move forward, keeping things behind? How exactly did you do that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think, see, I think I graduated in 2007, right? So it has been quite some time. And right now, I think I have a lot more maturity than I had like so many years back. As a 21-year-old or 20-year-old, it's hard to have that maturity, right? So so whatever I say, it might be easy for me to now say, but if I go back and put me in that position, I think it was not easy, to be honest, because when you are seeing around and when you see your friends getting through, they're having that fun. I mean, you also want to be part of that. Yeah, in the long run, all well that ends well. But still, I think it was pretty tough for me, at least. I still remember, I during that time frame, I had, I think, one of my sister's marriage, not my cousin sister's marriage, and I didn't want to go. Okay, because it was like, okay, I didn't want to show my face to anyone, because I was so. You tend to get into that zone. But I think, since I have gone through that, what I'll say is, like, I think it's just a temporary phase, and at the end of the day, you have to, just keep on doing your work, keep on following the process, and keep on doing the thing. Believe in yourself, and I think you should be able to get through. I mean, that's all I'll say. But yeah, I understand it's easier said than done, and it's not also easy to digest that everyone is getting through, and you then start questioning yourself, what you can
Right.
do right to make it happen. But but I don't think it's all about you. It's all about the situation, right? And it's all about just I think, how do I say, I think it's all about right place, right time, and how you are performing at that moment. But I don't think it's a right reflection of who you are.
Okay, so Dada, like you explained that first you were like when you were switching from like service-based company to products-based ventures. So there was a phase that you were in quite a dilemma. I just wanted to know that when you said in the first answer that you just got rejected from like different organizations, then you make up to Infosys, and after that you went up to Apple and then to Google. I just want to know that what was your reaction at that instance when you were like you got your first job. Like everyone has in his or her life like that reaction of the life when he or she gets his first job. And also I would like to add up to this, like what was your reaction like when you went to Google, then you had the prior experience of product based company while working in Apple. So yeah, you were in Fang League. So but when you joined Apple in USA, then what were your reaction that, oh, I make it to Google in the US, in California, Silicon Valley? So what was your reaction at that particular instance in these two moments?
Yeah, I mean, I think, see, first job is always special, and Infosys that way is still special, and still remember that. I think if I think back, I still remember that moment when my name was announced in the auditorium and how we celebrated. Right, you get those hugs from your friends who cheer up for you. So I think it still gives me goosebumps. That is really a special moment, and I don't think there is anything else that will ever over supersede or override that moment. And now coming to your second question, I think, yeah, of course it feels good, but I mean, I think the way you are saying Apple and Google, I mean, at some point of time you get over those names, right? The name of the companies doesn't matter to you. It's just the role you play, you just the job you do. Um, like there is a saying, "What's in a name?" So yeah, it sounds good, and you guys can also say that, okay, Fang and all, but I don't think it matters. The first company and the first job and the first. I mean, I think that is more special than anything else.
Right. So you talked about the role that you play. That is all that matters. So I would like to know what is your role as the senior application engineer? Like what job do you have to do? And since we are very new to all this, we actually don't have a clear idea about any of this. And I am sure pretty our audience also wants to know.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, day to day is. See, I have to make sure like I don't give out a lot of things, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
sure.
to
That's
make sure I mask it well. Yeah, I mean, as an application engineer, my day-to-day job is to, like I said in the beginning, to build software tools that helps the businesses. And I think if you can extrapolate it to other software engineer or other engineering roles, that's what we all do, right? We build solutions, or we make solutions to solve some problems. And how do you do that? Yes, at the granular level, you are writing some piece of code for sure, and that's what I do. um, and for writing a piece of code, you need to uh, design for it. So that's what I do. So design, writing code, development, and then finally implementation. So I think it's a very standard process that every engineer does. But at the end of the day, I mean, the summary is, yeah, I mean, we write code to solve problems, and that's what I do day to day.
okay.
So, Dada, like you explained that this is a particular domain on which you work for. So, I just wanted to know that, like, when a particular person switches from a particular company to another particular company, so at that particular time, apart from being importantly a role, a person also look up to the like workplace, and also the work ethics. All these things are also looked up while taking up a job profile. So I would just like to know that how Google developer is different from the rest of the mass, and how being a noobler in the community affects more, and what's the difference between a Google developer and other developers.
Well, I mean, of course, I mean, my answer will be biased to the company that I work for, uh, but uh, but I don't want to sound biased. I mean, see, the good part of Google is like internally we have so much of strong framework and so strong. I'll say like the technology framework inside Google is so strong. I mean, when you join, there is a definite learning curve to adapt to that toolkit. But but how do I say it? I mean, I think there is a saying that we keep saying we do things differently at Google. So we have very strong testing frameworks, we have very strong development frameworks, we have very strong reviews, code review cycles. None of your code can go to production, or forget about production, you cannot even check in your code without your code being reviewed by your peers. Okay, so your designs gets reviewed multiple amount of times. You get questioned on why you are doing it. So I think that's how we do things differently. We always question each other, why you are doing it. I think the why part is very important, and that's what I have learned in last few years over here. Why you are doing it, rather than how you are doing it. So yeah, and that's what I feel like. That's how Google is different, and that's how we do things differently.
Dada, you mentioned when
And
answering that.
last sorry, the last
Yes,
part I
sure, no.
forgot. And we also do believe in a lot of automation. I mean, that's something that we always think, how to automate, how to move from manual to automate. And that can be writing an automated test case, that can starting from writing an automated test case to automating some other manual processes. So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the interview process in California was pretty much different from that in India. So how was it exactly different? Like, what changes did
Yeah,
you
I mean, I
actually see?
no, I think now there has been a lot of parity, because when we do interviews for Google India, I think it's still the same standard process that we do. But when I think prior to Google, when I interviewed for Infosys, it was, maybe it was, since it was an entry position at Infosys, it was, I think to start with, we had to do puzzle rounds, right? And then the interview was pretty generic. And that's how I got into Infosys, right? And then a few other companies, if you see TCS and CTS, where I did interview, and every company you had to do a quant part, right? The first round was a quantitative part, having some puzzles, some mathematics, and then they will do a generic interview. They will ask very basic questions about uh, you know uh, your day to day, and also some basic questions about programming. I don't know how it is done today. And then when you try to switch, at least when we tried, I have heard about my friends when they tried to switch here. It was mostly the questions were around what job they do day to day. But when you go to Google for an interview, I mean, of course they want to know who you are and what you do, but at least for an engineering role, the questions are pretty very standard. You have to go through the coding rounds, you have to go through design rounds. Mm, and no one questions you what you do, or no one wants to even know what you are doing currently. So it's a very, very, very standard process. So that's the difference that I found, because when I was giving the interviews, I thought, okay, I was going through I was trying to uh, prepare myself more about the things that I'm doing every day. But when I go, okay, they go back to your old days and they want to know about, okay, what's a linked list, what's a pointer, those kind of basics that you go through right now. I think those basics are very important, and that's the questions that everyone ask you. Yeah, and lead code, of course. Yeah.
So
So, Dada, I just wanted to know that in past also, like you are working for Google for past 6 to 7 years, and
Mm.
before moving on or switching your role to the senior application engineer, you also worked as a technical lead at Google. So, what was your role at that moment? Like, what were the tasks you were assigned, or like, if not diving deep into the task, I would like to know that what was the overview of the full role that you were assigned.
Sorry, come again. Sorry, I missed that question.
Yeah, I was just asking that you are working in Google from past 6 to 7 years, and in this particular frame of time, you right now you are senior application engineer, but
Mm-hmm.
previously you also worked as a technical lead in Google. So I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to know that if not diving deep into the like task or particular domains, I just like to get an overview that what were the works you were assigned, or like how you managed that role. What were the cliche things you were doing in
Like right now, you want to know what I do right now?
no, no. Like in your technical lead role, when you were like previously you were assigned to different role in Google. So at that time, what you were like assigned to do?
No, I have been always a application engineer at Google.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I have been playing the same. I mean, I have been in the same role for quite some time. I mean, it's just that you get, as you get more matured in that role, you get to do more
Yeah.
stuff. You start getting more projects. You start getting more responsibilities. There is also a people aspect to it. Like you need to lead a group of people. So it's just the minor addition at every level. But I have been playing this role for quite some time.
Okay.
So, Dada, when you're in college, the coding
Mhm,
culture of college is actually very different from the coding culture that you see in the corporate world.
mhm,
So, like right now, the coding culture that we two are in is actually different from what you are in. So, the transition from college to corporate world, the patterns of coding, the entire peer group that you get, it's
mhm,
changed overnight, right? So,
mhm.
what was the exact transition?
Yeah, I mean, see, it's a learning process, right? It doesn't happen overnight. So at a college, it's more for fun, more for academics, more for getting through those semesters. I'm sure like there are a lot of other people who were very passionate about coding and passionate about technology from college days. Those are different stories. But for me personally, that was not there at college life. But once you start, but then when I got into the job, I mean, I just wanted to make sure, okay, I'm doing my due honesty to the money I'm getting paid to. So I'm being honest to the job. So that's how I think that's something that was always there. I wanted to be very dedicated to my work. And then the culture is something that you eventually you will learn, or you will get adapt to. It won't happen in a single day. But like you said, there is a peer group. There are people around you who is doing the same thing, right? It's same as college. There will be, you always go around people who are like minded, right, who do similar things. The same at office also. You will work with similar set of people who will be doing similar kind of things. So that's how you get into this ecosystem, and that's how you mm, learn your job, to be honest. But mm, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it is very different. But I don't think I have done anything different to adapt to this new environment. I think it has happened organically.
I would like to go to the next question that I would like to ask is, you said that the names at the end of the day, they don't stay. It's the job that you do. But for freshers like us, when we hear the name of companies like Apple or Google,
Mm,
it's actually intimidating to us.
mm,
And when you shift from Infosys to companies like Apple and Google, that too abroad, so how do you exactly, get over the fact that it's actually Apple or Google, or a part of the FANG company, and get yourself grounded?
I mean, mm, I think, see, staying grounded has nothing to do with Apple or Google. Okay, so I think it's all about you, who you are, and it's all about people who are around you. Okay, so I think as a kid, I mean, there was never a moment where anyone made a hue and cry about what I am doing. So it was every time whatever I did was very normal, and now also it's very normal. So that's how the grounded piece of things comes. I mean, if say you are doing something very trivial, and then everyone around you is clapping and saying wow, so then that's where you start moving up the air, and that's where you lose your foot in the ground. But that has never happened with me, and I think people around me have kept me very grounded, and that's number one. And number two is, I think, I feel like people, I don't know, I mean, I feel, how do I say it, I think I try to take a lot of inspiration from people around me and from people who I work with. So that's how and I have a sense that I have a lot to learn, and it's not about only work; it's about everything day to day life. And so my viewpoint is not never about me, but it's all about how you learn and how you go ahead. So maybe I have never thought about about names, and all those things. Yeah, but of course there is a satisfaction there, but it has never made me, but the grounded part of the question that you said, I mean, it never came across my mind. Yeah.
So, Dada, I just wanted to know one thing. Like, you have been living in the US for past 11 to 12 years, but
Hmm.
when you switched from India
How
to
did
like
you?
US for while switching the company, like there was a change of change of atmosphere, change of culture, all those things were there. So you might have settled to the environment in the span of 6 months to one a year, but in that particular phase of 6 months or so, what was your mindset and what were you thinking, like how will I manage to settle up here and all those stuffs?
How did you guys get all this information? That I think it's LinkedIn and Facebook, right?
Absolutely right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's where we get all the information.
yeah. Yeah, I think, see, when we started, again, I don't know how things are recently, but but past back when I came here, like I was a bachelor and I moved into I still remember I moved into a house where uh, my roommates were my previous friends in India. So I think that accommodation, the reason I talk about this accommodation situation, because that is a comfortable zone, and that's a known zone that you are already getting into, right? You are not coming here and living with strangers. If you had to, then you have to start adjusting from there, right? So once your personal setup is a comfortable zone, once your personal, yeah, so then the rest all becomes easy. Even when you go to office, uh, I knew a lot. There were a lot of known faces that I had worked with before, so it was not that difficult, to be honest. And like I said, that I think I'll give credit to mostly to the people around me who have always made me feel comfortable, and it was never that challenging, or it was never intimidating, to be honest.
Okay, so now after you are in Google, so what are your future plans exactly? Like you plan to stay at Google and continue the work, or you want to explore something else?
I mean, nothing. I mean, currently, I'm not thinking about anything else. To be honest, I mean, currently, I'm more focused on my personal life. Like I have very young kids, and I think I want to focus on my personal life a little bit more right now, and still do my job, of course. So yeah, I'm not thinking anything right now, to be honest. Yeah.
The last piece of question from my end is what is that one advice that you would like
So
to give to the juniors, like to us or to the audience?
Yeah, it's very hard to give advice to someone. I mean, I am not one of those who goes around and gives advices, but I think everyone has their story on their own, right? So and everyone has a different path to success. So I think that's all about it. I mean, no one. I mean, yeah. So everyone has a different story. Everyone has different path, and I think continue doing what you want to do. And I think uh, that's how you'll be successful. And the thing is, even the word successful is very relative for someone working at X company may be successful. For someone going home and having uh, cup of tea with family is successful. For someone else, going and watching a movie is being successful. For a few people, even having a piece of bread is successful. So it's very relative. So I don't think we should stress ourselves too much on trying to be someone else, and trying to do what someone else is doing. And I think everything else will follow. Yeah.
So, Dada, from my end, the last question will be like, I want to know, like, in today's scenario, like the youngsters like us feel a very difficult situation of time management. Like, we always think
Mhm.
that how to manage this, how to manage these meetings and all that stuff. But you are a working professional and you also have a family, and as you said, that you have two daughters. So, you will be like settled to the environment and you know how to manage work and life. So can you like tell the audience that how youngsters should gain this experience of making a work life balance, because when we'll be moving to the job sector or IT sector, at that particular instance we'll be facing this issue, like in the starting of the phase of our jobs we'll be facing work life imbalance. So what's your advice on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. If I'm not sure if I maintain the perfect work life balance. But again, it depends on you. You know how you define your boundaries. But I won't. But I'll be very honest. I don't think I do it very well, and especially with this work from home situation, I think, since as it goes with the name, you are working from home, so you are bringing work to your home. And with this mobile phones, and with this, like, everything, you are always somehow attached to your work. I mean, I think it's the hard part, and it also depends on individuals. And but it's not a good thing to do, like, I feel like there should be a very strong hard cutoff from work. Yeah, that's the ideal thing to do, but I don't think it's ideal in my case. Yeah, so no advice on that. Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much, Mitadru, for giving us this time because, coming from somebody who have been in our shoes for
Mhm.
the past years, gaining this direct interaction and the experience from you is really a big thing for us and also for the audience. So thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing everything with us. And we have
Yeah.
Jiteshda here with us and
Yeah.
Swapno Nilda
Hi.
as well.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hello,
Hi,
hello
hi.
everyone.
Hi Da, how you
Yeah, we
doing?
also have Arnab Bhaiya with us.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi Dada.
So hi Da, we have been so happy to have you here, and we were so excited to like listen to you and see what the experience is like working at Google. So
Exactly.
that is damn good.
Yeah. I think it was good to talk to you guys, and I wish you all the best. And I think
Thank you so much.
few
Thank
few
you
Thanks
so
a
years
lot,
much.
Da.
from now, someone else will be doing this interview with you guys. So I wish you all the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Da, for being here. And I think we've covered all the questions, right, Prakash? Ahana?
Yes, we have covered all the
Yeah, I think
questions.
Yeah,
thanks to
yeah,
Arnav,
yeah.
and I'm sorry, Arnav. Like I think there has been few times I said like no, I can't talk today, and I think we have been rescheduling it 2 3 times. Sorry for that, but I'm happy finally we were able to meet and talk. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you
that
so
that's
much.
great. At the end, if it turns out good, then it's everything good, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think we are good. Can we just have a quick picture? I think we're missing Shudro
Yes.
and Vedant is there. Was handling the entire stream from back. Vedant, if you can quickly jump in and we'll just take a quick pic. Yep. Hi Vedant, how you doing? Arnab, can we have you on screen or are you in an embarrassing position? All right. So Arnab's not here. So we can actually take a quick pic and I think we're good to go. All right.
Yeah.
So we can
Yeah.
do anything like we or
Yeah.
anything.
Yes,
Sounds
sure.
good.
Yes.
Cool. Got it.
Cool.
Thanks a lot, Bhaiya, to be
Thank
Thank
you
you,
you.
gave us
Dada.
time today, and that was great. That was a
Thank you,
great session.
Dada.
We were seeing it from the
Thank
back.
you. Thank you.
It was
Yeah.
great.
Take
Thank you.
care. Yeah. Bye.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
bye. Thank you, Dada.